Let's talk about the Startup CFO Challenge. So, if you are new to startups and you think that this job is just about financial strategy and investor relations, I hate to say you might be in for a bit of a shock. So, here is a reality check. I want to go through one of the biggest CFO challenges when working for a startup, what you can do about it, and avoid burnout essentially because it's a real issue. Being a startup CFO means that you're not just running finance, you're probably also reviewing contracts like a junior lawyer. You're probably sorting out HR problems just like a head of people is. You're probably fixing office budgets like a facility manager's. And you may also be managing data dashboards because finance owns the numbers, right? So that you should be owning all of the data. Now, none of us learned any of these during our accounting qualifications or degrees, so we're potentially not the right person for this. But unfortunately, in the startup world, there is no one else, and it goes to the CFO. Hi, my name's Alysha Randall, and I am the founder of Fast Growth Consulting and Financial Leadership Foundations. And not only am I a fractional CFO in the startup world and have 20 years experience, but I also train new and aspiring CFOs. So if that sounds like you, then please click on the subscribe button below. So why does this happen? Why do the CFO have to wear many different hats? And also head of finance, finance director, this is for you as well. It's not just the CFO, it is a finance leadership challenge when working for a startup. So startups don't have big teams. And this may be a real shock, particularly if you're moving from, say, audit or a large corporation, and there are a huge amount of teams. And then you come to a startup and there may be, say, 50 to 100 heads, sometimes even less. We certainly work with clients that have less. So when no one else knows where to put a problem, it often lands on finance. We're seen as capable people, as reliable people, people that deal with the background issues, not the commercial issues, even though that's not the case. And so it just goes to finance. So founders often assume that finance know legal, they know HR, and literally everything else. So unless you do set really clear expectations, you will end up doing everything but the actual finance work and also the business strategy work. So the five big problems every startup CFO faces is HR and payroll lands on your desk, legal issues, there's suddenly a finance problem, office budgets and operations, data analytics, because apparently finance should own that too. And you're really stretched thin and can't focus on strategy. So all these things, HR, legal, office, data, all of these things take a lot of time. And if you're dealing with these kind of operations, you just really can't focus on strategy. So if you keep saying yes to everything, you'll never have time to be a strategic CFO or strategic finance leader. You'll just be an overpaid admin assistant who happens to know finance. And I find this to be incredibly common for finance leaders who have been in this role for a short amount of time. So if you're new to, say, a head of finance role, and all of a sudden you realize you're doing legal admin, you're doing HR issues, and you're doing a lot of the data challenges, this is very, very common. So don't don't get annoyed with yourself. This is not unusual. So you need to work out how to fix this. So the first one is you need to set clear boundaries with the CEO or the founder. You are not the head of HR. So work out what you have the capacity for, and then anything else, outsource it. Now, when I'm saying outsourcing, I don't mean find someone else in the business to help you. I mean, you may need to find someone like me, but in a different division. So there are fractional lawyers, there are fractional HR people out there. So find somebody that can solve these issues, but inexpensively. That's the benefit of fractional. So you may not have a business that has their budget and they may not have enough need for a full-time HR person, a full-time lawyer, a full-time office administrator, but they certainly do need some assistance. So find out who else can do it. So get that legal advisor on retainer. You're a CFO, not a contract lawyer. And I will say that if you're doing the contract lawyer stuff, you may make mistakes. CFOs might know a lot about contracts. I know for me personally, I had to do contract law and commercial law as part of my degree. But that was a long time ago and I'm not practicing, and it was just one semester during a university degree. That doesn't mean I'm a qualified contract lawyer. So make sure you get a legal advisor on retainer. I did interview an amazing lawyer, Helen. I'll leave a link above and below if you want to check out why you need a fractional lawyer. Push for a HR function as soon as possible. Offloading payroll and hiring. Now, when I'm saying payroll, I don't mean the calculation of it. Generally, a finance manager or your bookkeeper will be running payroll. However, the inputs of payroll are a HR function. And yes, you can probably do it when there's only 10 or 20 people, but HR again is a serious business. Hiring people, dealing with people issues is a full-time job, and this is one that will never go away. It'll just get bigger and bigger and bigger. So again, HR can be outsourced. There are plenty of fractional HR people out there. I am going to interview someone soon, so once that video is available, again, I'll link that above and below. But it's really important that you get the experts in, because a HR function can easily suck up all of your time. I'm not going to lie. This is probably the one that takes up the most amount of time out of all the different areas. So make sure that you don't become the HR function. Insist in hiring a proper data team. So again, unless you're wanting to build business intelligence team within finance, which is fine. I have managed a business intelligence team before. When I worked for Love Film, I had 3 finance teams, regional and group, and then I had a business intelligence team, and that was a team of 10 data analysts and data architects. So if you want to do that, that's totally fine, but just be aware of what you're taking on. So you can't take that on within your accounting team. It's a completely different skill set, just like lawyers, just like HR experts. It's a different skill set. So again, make that decision and have that conversation. Do you want to create data analytics as a separate team under your jurisdiction? Totally fine. Or do you want to push back and say, no, the tech architecture is too complex. We need this to stay within the tech function, but I'm happy to say be a dotted line because you're the user of the data analytics. And then finally, really prioritize finance strategy over admin time. Your time is really valuable, and you may want to have a look at, say, the Eisenhower matrix. Again, I'll leave that link above and below. It's a really good way of working out what you should be spending your time on. If as a finance leader, you're just doing admin work all the time, you're not being very useful. Your career and the business or startup that you're working for will be affected if you're not utilizing your time properly. You don't want to be in a situation where you're spending all your time doing this admin work in legal and HR and data and what have you, and then a CFO is hired above you because you're not very useful as a finance leader. So make sure that you manage your time properly. Look, I get it. I have been there. I know exactly what it's like to be drowning in non-finance tasks and then wondering, what am I actually doing as a finance leader? So this is why I built the Financial Leadership Foundations. It's to help startup finance leaders step up, build confidence, and actually focus on strategic finance. If that sounds like you, whereby you're just drowning in overwhelm and doing tasks that really isn't helping the business, I can help you get to a really confident and skilled finance leader in 6 to 12 months. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, check out my course. And again, I'll leave that link below. Otherwise, I do have free resources such as my finance leadership guide, so you can download that for free. Again, I'll leave that link below. Otherwise, you may want to join my book waiting list. This comes out in a couple of weeks, so I'll leave a link below for this one as well, and you can check that out. It's basically everything I know in a book. So let's get you out of that firefighting mode. Drop me a comment below of what is the weirdest non-finance task you've been given as a CFO. I'd love to see. I bet some of you have been asked to fix the office Wi-Fi. If you found this really useful, hit subscribe, share this with another startup finance leader who's probably drowning in admin work right now, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.